dialing 832-551-5045 or 213-493-0133 in the USA. If you're in the UK, you can dial 020-3519-0145 and in Germany 051-180-904044. Our email address is bothsides106 at live.com, and you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or look us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages
Yeah,
on
this
MSN or Yahoo, and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have two ears and one mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Hour 106.
But to every mind there openeth a way, and way, and a way. A high soul climbs the highway, and the low soul gropes the low. And in between on the misty flats, the rest drift to and fro. But to every man there openeth a highway and a low, and every mind decideth the way his soul shall go. One ship sails east and another west by the selfsame winds that blow. 'Tis the set of the sails and not the gales that tells the way we go. Like the winds of the sea are the waves of time. As we journey along through life, 'tis the set of the soul that determines the goal, and not the calm or strife. Hey baby, I just got back from town, where the bribes are paid. Honey, they turned my offer down. They say the deal's already made. Now I must stand and watch while it all comes down. Circle round. I were to go and chase, just to see you free from the ropes that bind you and the role you play and the pride that hits you while the big ones get away. Love junkies want to change the world. It quickly says the same. Love junkies hire all the smart ones. Our junkies run the game, one step at a time. Polarity Hill. If the bad guys don't get you, baby, then the good guys will. Angels on the take, and gangsters in the yard. You don't the wars come easy, and don't the peace come hard. I a way to reach the sky and grab that crescent moon, wield it like a knife, just to save you from the lies and the ropes that bind you and the road you claim and the pain that hurts you rather than ones that away. It's the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. 2022 marks the start of the UN International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the 14th day of the third month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. Here in Jamaica and in the United States, the month of March is being observed as Intellectual Disabilities Awareness Month. Also in the US, March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, Endometriosis Awareness Month, and Salt Awareness Month. And in the UK, March is also Prostate Cancer Awareness Month and Women's History Month. In fact, we believe this week is also Salt Awareness Week here in Jamaica. It's Constitution Day in Andorra, Day of Solidarity with South Lebanon in Lebanon, Señor del Cautivo in Peru, Pi Day in the USA, White Day in Japan, the summer day Dita Everes in Albania, and Sikhs around the world are marking the start of the Sikh New Year. Hoy es lunes el 14 de marzo 2022 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est lundi le 14 mars 2022 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Monday, the 14th of March, 2022, and we greet you well wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. We started this afternoon with a very powerful piece by Ella Wheeler Wilcox, "'Tis the Set of the Sail." Some people know it as "One Ship Sails East." However you've recorded it in your memories or otherwise, it's a very powerful piece by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. "'Tis the Set of the Sail," otherwise known as "One Ship Sails East." And we paired that with "The Big Ones Get Away" by Buffy St. Marie. "The Big Ones Get Away" by Buffy St. Marie. Good afternoon and welcome to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Morant Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point, this is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you've downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We welcome those watching on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. There's more after the break.
Walk into Marjan's Pharmacy and you will feel better. The service is clearly different. Marjan's Pharmacy, call 876-703-6335. The time by Marjan's Pharmacy is 2:15. Did you know that the National Irrigation Commission Limited is the sole authority for irrigation systems in Jamaica? The National Irrigation Commission Limited enables the improvement in agricultural productivity through the provision of efficient and affordable irrigation to farmers and other customers. Contact them 977-6624 or 977-6727 or visit their website www.nicjamaica.com to learn more. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture. Manage your waste and save. Learn more about various wastewater systems for farms and residential use, assistance in getting NEPA licenses, and monitoring and characterization of your wastewater. Tune in to Real Business this and every Tuesday at 10 a.m. for Manage Your Waste and Save. Brought to you by the Scientific Research Council Wastewater Management Services. Environmentally conscious, responsive, and solution-oriented. That's Manage Your Waste and Save. Listen to every Tuesday at 10 a.m. during Real Business, right here on Power 106 FM. I was born in hopes that find you, and the role you play, and the pride that...
In case you went to bed yesterday and by the time you got up, you noticed after 2 o'clock in the morning that the time had changed. Well, yes, it's daylight saving time now. Daylight saving time. And it happens at springtime. Spring officially starts in another 7 days, officially. But we can see the trees and the bees and the butterflies and so on and so forth already. And so those on the US East Coast are an hour ahead of us. So Eastern time now would be 3 minutes. It's now, I beg your pardon, 17 minutes past 3 o'clock Eastern time. That's Eastern time now, which means our time in Jamaica is an hour behind that, which is 17 minutes past 2. So make a note of that. There are some devices like our laptop computers and other devices, because they were either made in America or otherwise carry the imprimatur of America. They therefore carry the time with them, the time in America. So bear that in mind, just in case you get a little startled looking at the clock and starting to panic. And then you realize, oh, we're an hour behind Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Time, whichever you prefer. So it is. Take a note of that, especially those of us who do business with entities elsewhere in the world. We should make note of the time changes. And I think in the UK, they are now 6 hours ahead, whereas previously they were 5 hours ahead, and so on and so forth. So bear that in mind. In the meantime, let's say hello and welcome to those of you who have joined us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. We thank the champions of this program who have been ramping up the numbers on YouTube. I'm not sure what you've all been doing, but thank you very much. We're getting closer and closer to the initial mark of 1,000 subscribers. Carol in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Good afternoon to you. She says, good afternoon, Brother Dervan and fellow listeners. Happy Monday to you too, Carol. Lorraine Brown, somewhere between, where's Lorraine? Somewhere between St. Anne's Bay and Claremont in St. Anne. She says, good afternoon, Sir D. How's the gentleman today? All is well. We're giving thanks for life as usual, Lorraine Brown. Welcome. Steve McDonald says, today is Commonwealth Day. I'm wondering if that's your creation, Steve, considering that you've separated common from wealth. Or are you being tongue-in-cheek? Steve, I'm sure we passed that day already, unless you celebrate Commonwealth Day a different day. But we could double check that. Inez Iona Campbell says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and viewers. I'm full enjoying myself here in Wallen District in Linstead. My gripes are no internet service, and the road is in a deplorable condition, and deplorable here in capital letters. Also, the water company on the Time and Patience main road, there's water running like a river. Anybody hearing this in that region, Time and Patience? Water running like river on the road, and the road in a deplorable condition, and there's no internet service. Well, Flo, see if you can cut some of cut some of that money that you're spending on, what's the name of the fellow, Gravy, who is walking from home, straight from work to home and continuing his internet coverage. Take some of Gravy's money, please, and see if you can bring internet service to Wallen District in Linstead. They have no internet service. See if you can spend some more money on the actual service flow as opposed to all the fancy footworks and the, well, not the dancing girls this time, but the talking heads, like the fellow Gravy. I don't remember his first name. He's one of the influencers, something another Gravy. Over to you, Flo. And NWC, or if it's assuming it's an NWC water system as opposed to a municipal corporation water system. Let's see what you can do for the people of time and patience. There's water running like a river, we're told by Inez Ayona Campbell. Water running like a river on Time and Patience Main Road, which means you are both running out of time. You are running out of time to fix it, and the people are running out of patience to tolerate it. Over to you, NWC or the municipal corporation. Time and Patience, water running like river on the Time and Patience Main Road, Inez Ayona Campbell is telling us. And if water is life, goodness, a lot of lives are going down the drain, aren't they? Hortense Edwards says, good afternoon, Dervan. To you too, Hortense. Welcome. Good to have you on board. And then Inez comes back in. She says, my question is, who is the caretaker for the Time and Patience and the Wallen district in Linstead? Can they do something about the road, please? And thanks. Someone or anyone. Well appreciated in advance. Well, we hope sharing the information with us and our sharing it on air will get some attention, direct some attention in your direction, Inez Ayona Campbell and everybody else in Wallen District and Time and Patience. Wallen District in Linstead and also Time and Patience. Let's see. Audrey Smith is in Southampton in England, and she has just joined us. Hi, Audrey Smith. Welcome. Golden Brown says, good afternoon, teacher. Welcome, Golden Brown. Good to have you on board. And Audrey Smith is greeting everybody as usual. Afternoon, Dervan and listeners tuning in from Southampton, she says. Natalie Winter is in Washington Gardens, Kingston 20. She says, good afternoon, all from Washington Gardens, Kingston 20. Rainy weather. Yes, we saw the rain. We saw it. We saw it heading in your direction earlier this afternoon, Natalie Winter. It looked really ominous. Those nimbus stratus clouds. And so she says, rainy weather here in Kingston. Enjoy the rest of the day. Pleasant viewing. Same to you. Donovan Campbell, good afternoon to you and blessings to Cherry Henry. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for tuning in. And all the others who are messaging us will get around to your messages eventually. You know how much we value your input. After all, you didn't have to pay us any mind, but you to go a step further and to actually message us. It says a lot. Thank you very much. Can we give you... there's some news that the Agriculture Ministry is developing a plan to cushion the impact of price increases. I would love to hear how that will work. A plan by the Agriculture Ministry to cushion, to cushion the impact of price increases. The story says, with the continued increase in feed and fertilizer prices, the Ministry of Agriculture says it has intensified discussions with stakeholders with a view towards developing a plan to reduce the impact on farmers. The increases come in the wake of ongoing supply chain disruptions caused by the pandemic and the crisis in Ukraine. With Russia and Belarus being major suppliers of potassium, one element of the fertilizers that are manufactured in Jamaica, the ministry says it is aware of efforts being made by major suppliers to source fertilizer from other countries. In the interim, The ministry says it will continue to provide assistance to small farmers through its production and productivity program in order to cushion the effects of this global challenge. And you can read on and continue to follow that one. So that's what the Gleaner is leading with at this time. And let's see, 5 more COVID-19 deaths is another story. So sorry to hear of those additional deaths. The loss of any life is to be regretted. Now, 2,850 people have died from COVID-19 in Jamaica, 2,850. 21 new cases with ages ranging from 1 to 103, pushing the total number of confirmed cases to 128,400. A total of 2,453 tests were conducted in the last 24 hours. The country's positivity rate stands at 3.8%. In the meantime, 95 more people have recovered from COVID-19 in Jamaica, and that pushes the recovery figure to 79,525. Encouragingly, less people in hospital. Now that figure is down to 69 patients in hospital with COVID-19, 9 of them moderately ill, 4 severely ill, and 2 critically ill. We wish them well. Lots of prayers for their families and those who are having to contend with illness from COVID-19. And 1,595 people are in home quarantine. So as usual, just quickly sharing with you stories that are trending right now, thanks to the Gleaners online platform. Teen arrested following gun seizure in Portmore. The police are reporting the seizure of an illegal gun in Gregory Park, Portmore, St. Catherine, yesterday, Sunday, and the arrest of a 17-year-old boy. The 9mm Brico pistol was recovered during a snap raid on Walker's Avenue in the community. The police report that the teenager was seen by the team and was accosted. He was searched and the weapon was found in his possession. Superintendent Hopton Nicholson, head of operations for the St. Catherine South Police Division, said the latest seizure highlights the involvement of young people in criminal activities. We have to save them. We have to do our best to save as many of them as possible. Those who have been working, let us continue the work. Those who are yet to begin, let's get the work going. Let's get on with it. And minibus operators in Buff Bay protest over road license. Now, what is that about? Let's see. The story is that minibus operators in Buff Bay, Portland, this morning staged a peaceful protest calling for them to be issued with road licenses to ply the Port Antonio to Buff Bay route. There's more after today's edition of Land Solutions coming up in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. Relax, Paul. Cover your nose and your mouth now and stay far from me. It looks like the flu have you aware.
I'm going to tell you, I have fever this morning. Right now, I'm in some pain. But I still have a try go for Pinky to get some phone credit.
It's like you never hear a thing where the nurse tell me the other day. She said we feel rest if we have the flu. We feel cover our nose and our mouth when we cough or we sneeze. And we feel wash our hand regular with soap and water. You better try go back to your yard and stop spread the flu. The flu is no joke. Visit your doctor or nearest health center. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
traveling to Jamaica with unaccompanied shipment. The Jamaica Customs Agency is encouraging all air passengers with unaccompanied shipments who have a taxpayer registration number, TRN, to present it to customs upon arrival. This will subsequently facilitate faster processing when clearing your unaccompanied shipments. The Jamaica Customs Agency will continue to implement measures to improve our service delivery and your service experience. You may contact us at 876-922-5140 to 8 or email public.relations@jca.gov.jm on this and other customs-related matters. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus. The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
It's a Monday afternoon, just after 2:30, and that means time for Land Solutions. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line for Land Solutions is the same as the WhatsApp number. That's 876-881-5254. 876-881-5254. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The website is landsolutionsja.com. landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office upstairs, Shop 6, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. You're encouraged to call ahead instead of just turning up. Here are the numbers to call the law firm Brown, Findley and Company: 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. That's 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. You can call the Ocho Rios office direct. You can dial direct 876-974-6083, 876-974-6083. And speaking of the Ocho Rios office, a lawyer is on duty every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Thursday, a lawyer is on duty at the Ocho Rios office of Brown, Findley and Company. In a moment, let's say good afternoon and welcome to Attorney at Law, Calicia Findley. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dervan, and good afternoon, listeners. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Land Solutions. As Dervan just said, I'll be your host for today, and I am Calicia Findlay. As always, feel free to call or send in your messages via text or WhatsApp. The text and WhatsApp number is 876-881-5254. Today, I want to spend a little time talking about modifications of covenants. I'm sure many persons would have heard the term and they're not quite sure what it is. So today I'll see if I can break it down so everyone can understand. There have been some news stories recently, particularly with developers building in contravention of certain orders and resulting in courts ordering that their developments be demolished or putting stop orders on their development. So I'll also touch on that for a bit. So what is a modification of covenant? To answer that, I need to back up a little and explain to you first what exactly a covenant is. So a covenant is a condition on a title. And I'm trying to be as simple as possible. I want to break it down for you. When you have a registered title, usually, it doesn't happen with every title, but on most titles, you have what we call covenants or encumbrances. And these are conditions that affect your usage of the land, or they may dictate the boundaries of the property. The most common boundaries that people run afoul of or that people breach are what we call boundary issues or distance breaches. So your title may say your house should be 10 feet from the road boundary, but instead of your house being 10 feet from the road boundary, it's 9 feet, 9.5 feet, or it's 5 feet, or in many cases, most of us probably are aware of cases like this. Instead of being 10 feet away from the boundary, the house is built smack dab right on the boundary. So anything in contravention, anything that goes against a condition that is stated on the title is known as a breach of covenant. To rectify or to fix a covenant, it's referred to as a modification of covenant. That is a technical term. So if you have your breach of anything on your title, for us to correct it, we have to do an application to modify that covenant. And generally speaking, that application is done in court. So let's go back to the distance breach. Title says your building should be 10 feet away from the boundary, but instead of being 10 feet away from the boundary, it's 5 feet. It's clearly in a case like this, if it's the building, it's not practical in many cases to demolish the building. So instead of doing a physical demolition, what we will do is make an application to the court to have the building as it is, 9.5 feet away from the boundary, to have that existing measurement be the correct measurement. So title says 10 feet, building is instead 9.5 feet. We can't demolish the building, so we're asking the court to allow that the building as it stands, 9.5 feet from the boundary, that 9.5 foot measurement be allowed to continue, be allowed to remain, and that will be the correct boundary going forward. So in a nutshell, that is an application to modify covenant. It is what we call a paper application. It's submitted to the court, and it takes about 6 months to a year for an application of that nature to be completed. Let me just make a distinction, however, between a breach of covenant and an encroachment. Many times people mix up the two, and it's understandable. So a breach is what I just did. And a breach can be an encroachment, but a breach is what I just described. Again, the title says 10 feet from the boundary, but instead of being 10 feet, it's 9.5 feet. An encroachment, and let me just stop a little and listen to me carefully. The word is encroachment. E-N-C-R-O-A-C-H-M-E-N-T. Encroachment, not encroachment. Encroach, not encroachment. So an encroachment is where something goes over onto someone else's boundary. Common scenario, your neighbor builds their fence and it comes over across the boundary line into your property. So an encroachment is something that goes over onto the adjoining property or over onto the other boundary. depending on the nature of the encroachment, it may not be able to be resolved by an application in court. If a purchaser is getting a mortgage and they find out that there is an encroachment, whether from the building itself, the eaves, the wall, the gate, the mortgage company will require that the encroachment be physically corrected, or what we have to do sometimes is an application for the piece, the offending piece, to be held together in a separate title, to be held together as one with the other title. So an application to modify a covenant or an application to modify may not resolve an encroachment, because an encroachment is something that goes over the boundary. So that, in a nutshell, is the difference between an encroachment and a modification application. When you are purchasing property, you should get a surveyor's identification report, because it is the surveyor's identification report that will show you, the purchaser, whether all the covenants have been complied with. If you are getting a mortgage, you don't have a choice. Your mortgage company will require that you obtain a surveyor's identification report. Many times purchasers will say, I know this property, I've known it all my life, I don't need to do a surveyor's identification report because I am confident that the boundaries are correct. You never can tell. Only a surveyor can determine whether there is a breach of covenant. And you don't want to be in a position as a purchaser where you have bought property, sale is completed, title transferred in your name, and long after the fact you realize that there is a breach of covenant or an encroachment. If that happens to you, you're stuck with it, because it would have been the vendor's responsibility either before the sale begun or while the sale was pending. But once it's transferred to you, if you had not previously notified the seller, then that becomes your responsibility. Over to our text line. Why can't you apply in court to fix an encroachment? Again, it depends on the nature of the encroachment. But what usually happens is that in the majority of sales and purchases, the purchaser is getting a mortgage. And it is the policy of mortgage companies to require a clean title, and with an encroachment, they're not going to process your loan application. So you're either going to be denied or they'll put it on hold until the encroachment is resolved. Let's say it's a case, however, where your neighbor's wall is over onto your property, and it has been like that for 10 years. If it's a situation like that, then your neighbor can apply. It doesn't have to be a court application. It can be an application directly to the title's office. Your neighbor can apply for that piece of the property to belong to them officially, and I'll get back to that shortly. This is Land Solution.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45. Manage your waste and save. Learn more about various wastewater systems for farms and residential use, assistance in getting NEPA licenses, and monitoring and characterization of your wastewater. Tune in to Real Business Listen to every Tuesday at 10 a.m. for Manage Your Waste and Save. Brought to you by the Scientific Research Council Wastewater Management Services. Environmentally conscious, responsive, and solution-oriented. That's Manage Your Waste and Save. Listen to every Tuesday at 10 a.m. during Real Business, right here on Power 106 FM.
Yes, sir.
Speaker, we could look at that. Having this thing
Under the law.
Oh, yes, I know.
for next weekend.
I interviewed Wayne Golding.
Okay, well, what happened
In
now?
Florida.
They're spending 100,000, and they said I want it in your show. The money, all they're spending in your show. We're going to talk to Mr. Winter for one day next week.
Okay.
So you tell me which day that would be.
Any day. Except Monday, of course, because
Right.
of Land
I'll do that
Solution.
because I look forward to say the Calabar thing they said. You know, so Winter.
Yeah, I know.
So what they done, you know, because they go along.
Okay.
Everything but it's spent in your show. And I'll tell you which day we carried on for the interview.
All right.
Who is it?
Yeah, man. Check it. Yeah. You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line for Land Solutions is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-881-5254. 876-881-5254. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The website is landsolutionsja.com. landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered at Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. There's a lawyer on duty every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And you can call the Ocho Rios office directly. And that number is 876-974-6083. 876-974-6083. The regular numbers for the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company, 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. Once again, here's attorney at law, Calicia Findlay.
Thank you, Dervan. Just before the break, I was speaking about the encroachment and encroaching, for example, an encroaching fence. And just to reiterate, if you're in a situation like that where your neighbor has come over onto your boundary and that encroachment has existed for, let's say, 10 years, then you would have automatically lost your right to that section, and your neighbor can go ahead and apply for that section to be included in their title. That's what the law says. Once you have an encroachment of that nature and it exists for more than 7 years, that person can go ahead and automatically claim the section. So please check your boundaries regularly. You can call in a surveyor to do a surveyor's identification report. Especially to, let's say you have been living beside, this happens quite frequently, you've been living beside a vacant property, vacant land, I should say. Someone has bought it recently and they have started building. You feel that they're coming over onto your property. Can't hurt for you to get a surveyor to come in and do a surveyor's identification report to ensure that there are no issues with them coming over onto your boundary. Because if you wait too long, if you wait longer than 7 years, you won't be able to reclaim your land. Now, with respect to an application to modify a covenant, as I said before, it's an application that's done through the Supreme Court. You have to serve NEPA and the parish council. And we must have approval from those agencies before the court will even entertain the application. In addition, nowadays, we have to have approved building plans. If there have been any additions, improvements to the property, the court is going to request building plans. If you built rehouse or you need any improvements without getting building plans, you still are going to need to get what we call as-built plan, retroactive approval. So that has to be done. So take this as a warning. A lot of us are still just going ahead and building, making additions without seeking any kind of approval from NEPA or the parish council. It's going to run you in problems later on. You don't want to build a nice, wonderful house or add on 3-4 bedrooms, spending millions of dollars, only for the court or for the parish council to then order that the work has to be stopped or that it has to be demolished. We see it happening frequently, and it's because people flout the rules, they disobey the laws. And then they get upset and they say the laws in Jamaica aren't good, but the laws are there. But as citizens, especially when it comes to building, and developers are guilty of this, we're just not adhering to the laws. I know for some municipalities, also referred to as parish councils, Portmore being one of them, if there is a breach of covenant, certain mortgage institutions will not accept a letter from an attorney saying that they're going to fix it until the municipality gives the go-ahead. So the municipality will have to go in, do a physical inspection of the property, and then say, yes, we're aware of this breach, and we're fine with you making an application to modify the covenant, or no, we're not going to allow you to make this application. You have to get building plans, or you have to make this physical amendment first. And I know in particular with Portmore, that is the case because quite a few properties in Portmore, or just Portmore in general, they have a high non-compliance rate with obtaining building approval. So that is why many mortgage companies have taken that stance. You have to have a non-objection letter from the municipality before they will even consider your application. Over to WhatsApp. Good day, Ms. Finley. You just said an application to modify takes about 6 months to a year, but I've been waiting now for almost 2 years. Why so long? I can't quite say why your application is taking so long, but generally, once an application to modify a covenant is taking so long to be resolved in court, it could be perhaps that there is something wrong with your application, or maybe one of the planning authorities, maybe they're not giving their approval. Maybe they want you to go back and amend something in your application. Maybe they want you to do some physical correction to the property before they will entertain your application. Do you have building approval? That's one of the reasons why applications are stalled in court too, because persons don't have building plans. And let me tell you, building plans are not cheap. For, let's say, a 2-bedroom house in Portmore, I think the average cost to obtain a building plan can run you $90,000 to $100,000 just to get the plan. So imagine something bigger. It costs a lot, and the cost to get the building plan is separate and apart from legal fees to modify the covenant. Legal fees to modify the covenant will run you in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So please get your approvals before you start building. If you're buying, do a surveyor's identification report first to see if there are any issues. And let me just say, if you are buying property and you do your surveyor's identification report and it says there is a breach, it doesn't mean that the sale will have to end there. The seller's attorney, I should say, can give what we call an undertaking to your bank, to your loan institution. An undertaking is a fancy word for a promise, saying that they will make an application to fix the breach once the sale is finished. And banks accept those undertakings. So the attorney will say, all right, it will cost X dollars for me to make this application. The bank will then hold back that money after the sale is finished, and they won't pay over that money until the modification has been completed. So if there's a breach on a property that you're buying, all is not lost. The sale can still go ahead. Over to our text line. This is an interesting question. Is it cheaper to do a court application, or is it cheaper to physically take down a fence or a building? It all depends. If it's a wire fence, let's say it's a wire fence that instead of being 10 feet from the boundary, it's 9.5 feet from the boundary, clearly it would be easier to just pick up the post and move it back in line with the boundary. If it's a wire fence, if it's a wooden fence, it's easier. If it's a massive concrete wall that goes to several feet high, several feet long, it may not be feasible to demolish it and to have it rebuilt. So in a case like that, where it's a concrete wall, it might be cheaper to do the court application. If it's just a wooden fence, I would say just pick up the posts and move it. So in a situation like this, you have to weigh the cost. If it's an entire building that is in breach, it's not feasible to demolish it, so a court application will be cheaper. However, if the authorities are saying, no, this breach is just too bad, there's absolutely no space. If there's an emergency, there's no space for emergency personnel to go around the building. And we see it all the time where a person's built right on the boundary. I mean, I'm certain that there's some houses, I'm convinced that they're built in the road. They leave absolutely no space. If it's a case like that, the authorities are going to give you any kind of approval. So even though going to court may be technically or theoretically, I should say, cheaper, you may not have a choice. You may just have to end up demolishing the building. So please get your approvals. Don't build without getting your approvals. And if you're not certain what to do, if you're considering building or making an addition, you would employ the services of an architect or a draftsman. They would prepare the plans for you and then submit them to the parish council and walk it through for approval. And it's the same too if you've already built and you want to go ahead and get what we call retroactive approval. You would get a draftsman or an architect to do what we call an as-built plan for you and submit it to the relevant agencies. I recall, and I think it may be ongoing, some years ago, several schemes in Portmore were invited, the owners were invited to get their as-built plans and submit them, because I think there was an amnesty. There wouldn't be a fine if you submitted your plans after the fact to get approval. It's never too late to get your approval, but again, if the breach is so bad, you may not be able to get the approval that you may have to demolish. Our numbers to call in live on air, 876-922-411-325. The text and WhatsApp line, 876-881-5254. If you want to call the law offices of Brown, Finley and Company, the numbers are 876-908-1950, 876-908-3518. And if you want to come to us at the Ocean office, that number is 876-974-6083. This is Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock.
Jesus, Jesus, oh Jesus, Jesus, oh how I love to call your name.
Tune in to Power 106 FM for the longest running religious calling program on Jamaican radio, The Prayer Line. Join Pastor Errol Hay and his team as they offer spiritual guidance and intercession grounded in biblical doctrine. Hear powerful testimonies from Jamaica and around the world. The Prayer Line, a source of support and inspiration in these trying times. That's The Prayer Line on Power 106 FM, Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Join us.
You shall live declaring Amen. You shall be a living testimony. You are on the Lord's side.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land. You've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line for Land Solutions is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-881-5254. 876-881-5254. The website is landsolutionsja.com. Landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. They encourage their clients and potential clients to call ahead instead of turning up. The numbers to call the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company, 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. If you want to call the Ocho Rios office directly, their number is 876-974-6083, 876-974-6083. And they have a lawyer on duty every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Ocho Rios office of the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company. There's a lawyer on duty at your service. Let's take you back once again to Attorney at Law, Calicia Findlay.
Thank you, Dervan. For those of you who may just be tuning in, today I am discussing modifications of covenants, encroachments, but as always, feel free to call or send a message with respect to any issue relating to land. Another reason modifications may need to be done is if you are applying for a change of use of land. That's very common nowadays, especially for those of you who may be in the corporate area. I'm sure once you go outside, you see a new development, whether it's a commercial or residential, popping up literally on every corner. Some titles may say they should only have, or the property should only have one dwelling house, or the property should only be used for residential purposes. If you have a situation like that, let's say your title says it should just be one dwelling house, and you want to do a development, then you have to make an application to modify or to change this covenant. And in this case, it's known as a change of use. So technically there isn't a breach, but because you want to change the use of land, you have to make an application. It's the same type of application you would do if you're doing an application to modify covenant. You have to get your building plans and submit them to the relevant authorities.
We have a caller for you, Calicia.
Thank you, Dervan. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, how may I help?
How do one process a probate, a will?
All right. So I think you were actually right the first time. It's a probate. Yes. So after they die, the will needs to be probated. And probate really is the official process of certifying that the will is valid, of proving the will. So the executors will engage the services of a lawyer, and the lawyer will make an application to the court for probate, and the court will review it, certify it, and grant an order saying that the will is indeed official, it is valid. So in a nutshell, that is what probate is. So you make a will, person dies, and then the executors apply to have the will certified, also known as probate.
Thank you, man.
You are welcome. Thanks for listening. I to call in live on air, 876-922-411-325. The text and WhatsApp line, 876-881-5254. So I'm certain many of us would have seen or heard the reports of developers running afoul of the law. Do we have a call?
Not at all, Calicia. Okay. Please go ahead.
No problem, Dervan. Thank you. So there are various reasons why some developers may have run into these problems. But based on just some of the reports, I would have glanced at they would have built in contravention of the approval. So let us say they received approval to do a 3-story property. Instead of doing 3 stories, they've done 4 stories. They received approvals to do 1-bedroom units. Instead, they've done 2- and 3-bedroom units. Sometimes these are the issues. So the same rules that I know a lot of us as individuals, we think it's one law for us and another law for others, but really the same law that applies to individuals when it comes to building or making improvements applies to developers. If you want to do any kind of development, if you want to change the use of land, you have to make an application. And once you get your application, your obligations don't stop there, because you have a continuing obligation, because the authorities will come in and do inspections, the municipality or a NEPA. And if your approval says 1 bedroom, so they come in and they check 2 bedrooms, they're going to either shut it down, and they're getting very strict nowadays. It is welcome. They may order that your development be torn down. Someone wants to know if they can make additions to their house while waiting on a modification application in court. I would say if you are doing the addition to a different section of the house that is not already in breach, and if you have all your approvals stamped and certified from all the relevant authorities, then you can go ahead and do the addition. But if there's any doubt at all, leave it alone. Don't do it. If someone, this is over to a WhatsApp line, if someone encroaches, and again the word is encroach, not encroach, if someone encroaches on your land, what's the best way to solve that? To confirm, and I think I may have touched on this earlier, to confirm whether there is an encroachment or not, you have to have a surveyor's identification report. Once you have that, you're armed with it, and you see that the person has come over, let's say, onto your property and it's recent, easiest way is to have a discussion with them, show them your surveyor's identification report. And I chuckle, because this is Jamaica, and that may not always be the easiest thing. It's easier said than done, I should say, because we know how our neighbors can be. We try to be peaceful, we try to have a civilized conversation with them, and they may not be receptive or respectful. So if you've tried that and it's leading you nowhere, you may have to engage the services of an attorney to write them to say, listen, you have recently started building on your land. It has come over onto my client's property. We're willing to resolve this amicably. Please remove the structure within X time. If it's not removed, then we'll have to take it to court. You can also seek the services of a mediator who can help you to settle the dispute. If you try your best and there's just no way to resolve it, you may have to end up in court. And again, if the encroachment has been there for more than 7 years, the person would have gained the right to it. Someone wants to know how they go about getting building plans. Again, you engage the services of a draftsman or an architect. They prepare those plans for you and they submit it to the parish council. And also, if you have already obtained building plans and you want to get copies of them, You can request certified copies from the parish council. Sometimes we have a problem getting that, though, especially where the approvals were from years ago. I can think of one parish council in particular. They had a really bad fire long time ago, and they lost all their records. So if you want your building plans from that period, you may just have to get new plans. You may have to get as-built plans. So generally speaking, you get building plans from an architect or a draftsman. And I've seen this happen. Just getting the plans, having them draw up the plans and giving it to you, that's not enough. You have to submit them to the parish council for them to be approved. So just having the plans in your hand, please, that is certainly not enough. Over to Facebook page, that's facebook.com/land solutions. I bought a brand new house some years ago and made no changes. I decided to sell it recently only to find out there is a breach. Whose responsibility is it to fix it? Unfortunately, it is your responsibility to fix it. And we see that happening. You own a property, you bought it, or it was given to you. You've done absolutely no additions, no change, no physical changes, nothing to the property, only for you to find out there's a breach. I've even had cases where someone did a surveyor's identification report when they bought the property, showed that there were no issues, no breaches, tried selling it years later, purchaser comes with a surveyor's identification report, and it says that now that there is a breach. It is the owner's responsibility to modify the breach. So which is why we tell persons to do the report when they're buying the property. If it's a case where you bought your property, let's say 30 years ago, and now you have an IG report in 2022 showing that there's a breach, the most recent report would cancel that old report. Reports are generally valid for 1 year. If you're selling your property and you don't want the hassle of having to do a modification, you can negotiate further with the purchaser. This happens all the time. Let's say you're selling for $10 million. You find out there's a breach. You can say, listen, I know there's a breach, but I don't want to have the hassle to deal with it. I don't have the time. Can you take it on as a purchaser? I will give you a reduction of X amount. That is possible. So again, if there is a breach on your property, all is not lost. If you're selling it, you can negotiate with the purchaser. Someone wants to know if they can probate a will for a house with an encroachment. You can, yes, certainly. Those are two separate issues. So whereas an encroachment can affect a sale of a house, it won't affect you probating a will. Again, when someone dies and they leave a will, for the will to be certified, it's probated. It has absolutely nothing to do with the boundaries on the property. So you can go ahead and do probate. If you get to the stage now where you want to sell the property and you find out there's an encroachment, then it can affect it. So probating the will by itself, not an issue. And executors too can heed this warning. They can go ahead, do a surveyor's identification report to confirm that the boundaries are in order before they sell. This is Land Solutions.
Coast to Coast Concrete, the high quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876-754-7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is
3:15.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
It's the final segment of today's edition of Land Solutions. Don't miss an opportunity to get in those calls now and those messages before today's edition comes to an end. Here are the numbers to call Land Solutions: 876-922-4113 to 5. 876-922-4113, and it goes up to 5. So 4113, 4114, or 4115. The text line for Land Solutions is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876 3. Let's do that again. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, as I said, 876 881 5254. 876 881 5254. And remember, the website is landsolutionsja.com. Landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. Facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. Gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They encourage, well, that's not the only office. There's also the Ocho Rios office, which is at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National. I'm sorry, there's just saw a breaking story coming up on Twitter. We'll get back to that. Right. So you can visit their office in Ocho Rios as well on a Thursday between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. But please call ahead and notify the team at the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company. And the number for the Ocho Rios office of Brown, Findlay and Company, 876-974-6083. 876-974-6083. A lawyer is on duty every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Ocho Rios office. For the final segment of today's edition of Land Solutions, here once again is attorney at law, Calicia Findlay.
Thank you, Dervan. Over to WhatsApp. Can a church apply for adverse possession? And if they want to sell land, are they exempt from all taxes? All right, first part of the question, can a church apply for adverse possession? Yes, they can. And those applications are actually quite common. And again, adverse possession applications are with someone or an organization or an entity, in this case a church, where they have occupied property for 12 years or more undisturbed. They can then go ahead to make an application for the title in their name. So yes, a church can apply. It doesn't only apply to individuals, it applies to companies, churches, corporate bodies, because those are what we call legal persons. If a church wants to sell land, are they exempt from all taxes? No. The church, usually when you're buying and selling land, the associated government fees are transfer tax, stamp duty, registration fee. Churches aren't exempt from paying those fees. The only taxes that churches and charities, I should say, are exempt from are property taxes, and they have to be duly registered. So no, there's no exemption when buying or selling property. And speaking of property taxes, remember, property taxes for the new fiscal year 2022 to 2023 will become due March 31st. So if you haven't already, you can start paying your property taxes. If you haven't received your notices of assessment, you can just look back on any old property tax receipt or any old notice of assessment, look for your valuation number, and you can use that to find out how much property taxes you will have to pay this coming April. What happens if two executors cannot agree? How do they resolve their differences?
Can you take that after this caller, please, Kalicia?
Sure, Dervan. Thank you.
Good.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
How may I help?
Hello?
Hello, yes, please go right ahead. You're live on air. Hello, are you hearing?
Hello?
May not be. Hello? Hi, caller, are you hearing me?
All right.
Sorry, that issue.
Yes, there's a hum in the line as well. We'll let you know, but
thanks, Dervan.
go ahead.
So what happens if two executors cannot agree? How do they resolve their differences? If they've tried their best effort, they've engaged in services of an attorney or a mediator, if they absolutely cannot agree, they may have to go to court to seek an order for what we call directions, where the court will say, all right, you can't agree to do this. This is what Executor A is saying. This is what Executor B is saying. Having taken all of that into consideration, this is what I'm ordering, and this is what both executors must do. That's an absolute last resort, because not only is court expensive, it takes a long time. If you file an application for directions, you're not going to get a hearing date for a couple of years. So as much as possible, I know it's difficult, try and come to some resolution, try and get an impartial party to see if they can help you with your negotiation. If a seller does not disclose a breach to a purchaser, can the purchaser sue the seller? If a seller does not disclose a breach to a purchaser, can the purchaser sue the seller? No. In Jamaica, we have a principle that says caveat emptor, buyer beware. So the purchaser is taking the land with the full knowledge of it, or it is taken to be that they have examined it and they know what's wrong with it, they know what's right with it. So when you're buying property, it is the purchaser's responsibility to do their due diligence. If a seller knows that there is a breach and they want to disclose it, no problem at all. They absolutely can. But they are under no obligation to disclose it. So this is why purchasers need to do their reports, their surveyor's identification report, their valuation report. I mean, there are standard clauses in sale agreements that say if there's any error in the description by the vendor, any misstatements, any omissions, the purchaser can't sue it. So please, as purchasers, do your due diligence. And I find what happens with me, sometimes, and you know, times are hard. Everybody wants to save money where they can. But in trying to save money, we end up cutting corners and selling ourselves short. And we end up paying for it down the road. So I see purchasers will say, I can't bother to spend this money on this report. I don't need to get a lawyer. I don't need to pay any money for a lawyer. And if they had just done that up front, then they could have avoided the problems down the road. So please do due diligence. Is it illegal to sell property for just $1?
All right. Can you hold that, Kalicia? Let's try that line again. One moment, please.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, how may I help you?
I'm just calling to find out, my father dead and leave a piece of land.
Yes.
Some sisters and brothers, some of them have died. But I'm still living on the property. So I want to find out if, while I'm living there, if any one of my sister or my brother can do anything that I could hear one of the days that I have to move or leave.
All right. How long ago did your father die?
My father died from I was 11, and now I'm 61.
Okay. Did he by any chance leave a will?
Pardon me?
Did he leave a will?
No.
Okay, and you have been living there all this time?
Yes.
Has anybody ever tried to take you off?
No, but one of the time I hear my brother said, he might wait for one of my sisters to bury the land. Cause
But nobody has ever taken you to court or anything?
No.
All right. What you would need to do is make an application to get title in your name based on the fact that you have been there so long.
Yes.
That is the only thing that will give you certainty. Because especially based on what you just said,
yes.
Perhaps one of your siblings could be trying to survey the land and apply for title. But if you are the one who has been living there all this time,
yes.
you would be the one entitled to do that. But you would need to get that done as soon as possible. So don't delay any longer.
Okay.
All right, take care.
So which steps do I take now?
The first thing you do is contact a surveyor, call them in to survey the property.
Okay.
When you get the survey, then you call us back and we can set up a meeting so we can review everything.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care.
You're welcome.
Message. Is it illegal to sell property for $1 or below or above the market value? Short answer is no. You can sell property for anything. You can sell it for $1. You can give it away. If property is worth $10 million, you can sell it for $5 million. You can sell it for $25 million. So there's no law that prevents that. If, however, you sell property for below the market value, the stamp office will give you an assessment of the transfer tax based on what they think the market value is. So if the property is valued at $20 million and you're selling it for $5 million, chances are they are going to make you, or they're going to want you to pay the transfer tax based on the $20 million value. So again, no restriction on selling property for what you want, but you may have to pay increased transfer tax. And for purchasers, please, I hope you listen to this carefully. You cannot force someone to sell you property for what you think it is worth. A seller can do whatever they want with their property. It's up to you to decide if you want to. Let me see if I can get in. Final message. What's the advantage of using a real estate agent? This is a two-part question. Do you need both a real estate agent and a lawyer when buying property? All right. What's the advantage of using a real estate agent? When you are buying property, the real estate agent really does the leg, and when you're selling property too, they do the legwork for you. So they will find properties in your price range, bring them to you, show you them, and help you to decide. Same for the seller too. They will find an appropriate buyer for you. And as in Jamaica, it's the seller who pays the realtor a commission, generally 5 to 6%, plus GCP for some companies. And the real estate agent makes it easier. But if, like I said, if you're the seller, you have to pay a commission. Do you need both a realtor and a lawyer when you're buying property? The real estate agent, also known as a realtor, and the lawyer play two completely separate roles. So you can't say, I have a realtor, I don't need a lawyer. I have a lawyer, I don't need a real estate agent. The real estate agent finds the property for you. After they've found the property for you and you agree to buy it, their work ends there. Once you've found the property and you agree to buy it, or once the real estate agent finds a buyer for you and you agree to sell it, then the lawyer picks up and handles the sale or handles the purchase. So they're two completely separate roles. So please don't think that because you have one, you don't need another one. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Land Solutions. I've been your host for today, Khalesia Findlay. And thanks as always to Dervan, Shandale, and the team of Power 106. Take care.
Importers, provide proper invoices for customs when presenting goods for examination. This could prevent delays during clearance. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30. For great vibes and tasty cuisine, visit Las Vegas Cafe, conveniently located at 70 Crane Road, Black River. Drive in, take away or request delivery. Choose from a variety of delicious seafood dishes. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Sundays to Thursdays and up to midnight Fridays to Saturdays. Las Vegas Cafe, the home of seafood since 2009. Manage your waste and save. Learn more about various wastewater systems for farms and residential use, assistance in getting NEPA licenses, and monitoring and characterization of your wastewater. Tune in to Real Business this and every Tuesday at 10 a.m. for Manage Your Waste and Save. Brought to you by the Scientific Research Council Wastewater Management Services. Environmentally conscious, responsive, and solution-oriented. That's Manage Your Waste and Save. Listen to every Tuesday at 10 a.m. during Real Business, right here on Power 106 FM.
Knowledge is power. Classes in session. Power 106.
Hey baby, I just got back from town with the price to pay. And if you turn my outfit down, you say the deal's already made.
On the heels of Land Solutions, time now for both sides of the story proper on Power 106 FM. The numbers to call 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. And that number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. The email address is bothsides106@live.com. Bothsides106@live.com. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVANMALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. What's on your mind this afternoon? Lines are open to you, as we have said, 876-922-4112-5. Steve in Toronto, Canada, has confirmed that today is, in fact, Commonwealth Day. And the reason why we were questioning it, Steve, is because we did, in preparation for the week, do a check on as we usually do, in terms of the days, significant days. And it somehow seemed as if either the information on Commonwealth Day was a little late, or what we saw was some dated information, as in stale information with respect to the actual date. So we thought it had passed. Apparently not. And so Steve is here, since he is an emissary of the Queen. He is here to tell us how he came by that information. An emissary of Her Majesty. How are you? How are you, sir?
I'm very well, Dervan. But the reason how I came, because of how I came in the receipt of such knowledge, is just because I'm a Manning's graduate.
I hear you. I'll take your word for it.
But, thank you, and let me say good afternoon to your listeners, the people of Westmoreland, and in particular Savlamar, Lennox Bigots in Darliston, Grange Hill, and also to my aunt, Miss Emma Wellington, who I know is listening to your program too. Reason for my call, couple of things. Just wanted to give a big shout out also to one of my pastry shop that's in Savlamar, Westmoreland, by the name of Hammond's Bakery.
Hammond's is still around?
Yes. Yes.
They've been around forever.
As we would say, from me a picnic, from me idea, me need.
And that was a very long time for you, Steve.
A very long time. long time. It's good to come back. And they do have a fund, which is in Toronto. So I felt an extreme sense of pride when I saw that. And actually, let me just say, this is not their first time. As a few years ago, I did see them have a sliced breadfruit, roast breadfruit, frozen roast breadfruit that was also here in Toronto. Now a few more people are exporting that, but that was back when I thought it was a novel idea. So kudos to them where that is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to share an idea with you, Dervan, and to Jamaica, and I'm hoping that some of our leaders are listening and can help with this to make this a reality. And it's regarding providing financing for tertiary education for low-income families. I know a lot of people have been speaking about the students who have to leave to go, whether to Ukraine, Russia, Cuba, or other areas because tuition fee is just too high. So my proposal is to use the $50 billion dormant account that we have, invest the money in the U.S. and international stock exchange, assume a very conservative rate of return of 5%. And let me just say that the Canada Pension Plan also, they can do something similar investment to the Canada Pension Plan, which they operate in a similar manner. And the 10-year annualized rate for the Canada Pension Plan has been 11.6%. So it is a sound principle in terms of the investing. But assume a 5% rate of return, which will offer you low to medium risk and volatility. From the investment return, use 25% of the investment returns to fund education each year, and then reinvest the remaining 75% into the fund. So based on my calculation, Dervan, in the first year, $625 million would be available for funding. After 10 years, $870 million available for funding. And after 20 years, $1.2 billion available for funding. After 30 years, $1.8 billion available for funding. After 40 years, $2.6 billion available for funding. 50 years, $3.7 billion. After 75 years, $7.5 billion will be available. After 100 years, $24 billion would be available. I stop at 100 just because I don't think I will be living much longer. But I mean, it can continue in perpetuity. Continue in the same manner. Just keep it going. As I used a very low rate of return of 5%, still you will find over time the fund will earn more. Just mention what the Canada Pension Plan earned. So the base will actually be larger than what I quoted, but because I was doing it for such a long period of time, 100 years, I use 5% of 5% average, which I think is very realistic in this over time. Even the S&P 500 have earned more than 5 years, 5% during its existence. What I'm suggesting is to offer these families a 0% interest rate, repayable after the third year of graduation and over a 15-year period, as people are always saying that they're finding it difficult to repay their loan. So that is my suggestion. I hope that who needs to hear will hear, and that they'll be able to implement it and utilize and make the best use of this service. That's my contribution for today.
And we appreciate the contribution. Thank you so much. It's worth exploring, especially from that pool of funds you referenced, the so-called dormant accounts. And there's no better investment than an investment in education. So
I totally agree. And it's very simple to run the figures. I have the figures, just do an Excel spreadsheet, and they'll be able to check the figures themselves.
Yeah.
So it's a very simple process. Thank you again, Dervan, and thanks for all that you continue to do. By the way, Dervan, when are you coming to Toronto? You haven't been this side for a while.
That's easy. You just need to say when and make the arrangements. And like Michael Jackson, I'll be there.
Okay. Oh, I need to say when I make the arrangements. Because I was just going to provide you with the date. I will touch base with Angela and Miss Tiny, and we'll work something out.
All right. Let's see what happens from there.
Thanks very much, Dervan. You have a good one. All the best.
You too. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. It's really not that hard to get us to travel, actually. It's not as hard as it seems. You just need to make the arrangements, and we'll make it happen. I remember getting a call after we did, which broadcast did we do? Some broadcast from somewhere in the world. And we got a call the following day, and the question was, what do we have to do to get you to broadcast from where we are? And I said, just ask. Just ask us, and we'll take it from there. Anyway, let's see. Thank you very much for the call, Steve in Toronto, Canada. Norman Hines in St. Thomas is with us as usual. Thank you, Norman, for tuning in. Irvelyn Connie Palmer, happy Monday to you too. Jennifer Harrison Rampasad says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Blessings to you. Love your program. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We really, really appreciate your support. Jennifer Harrison Rampasad. Beverline in Toronto, Canada says, hello, Dervan. How are you doing? I am home today from the hospital. Well, we're delighted to hear that. That's encouraging news, Beverline. She says, appendicitis and inflammation in the lower abdomen, still inflamed, but happy to be home. Oh, dear. Well, yes, we're happy for you too, Beverline. We didn't realize exactly what the situation was. Now we know, but we wish you a speedy recovery, and that you will get well soon and back into the thick of things, as they say. All the best, Beverline in Toronto, Canada, one of our long-standing listeners. Thank you very much. Chrissy Don says, good afternoon, Sir D. To you too, Chrissy Don. Good to have you on board. Thank you so much for staying in touch with us here on Both Sides of the Story. YouTube is blowing up. So many messages. Let's see if we can take a few of those when we come back from this break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
The following is a public service announcement. Power 106 FM has been informed that unscrupulous persons are calling members of the public, attempting to trick them that they've won a Power 106 FM and digital promotion. Power 106 FM is not involved in any such promotion and is advising persons that receive such calls that this is a scam. Once again, Power 106 FM has no current promotions. Thus, persons receiving calls that they've won prizes from a Power 106 FM promotion should not believe it, because this is a scam. The proceeding was a public service announcement.
On the heels of that scamming infomercial, there's a story trending on the Gleaner's website right now. Alleged lottery scammer extradited to U.S. Alleged lottery scammer extradited to the US. No one wants to go to the US in a normal way these days, so they do things to get to the US. Jamaican Romario Murray has been extradited to the United States to face criminal charges relating to lottery scamming. The U.S. Embassy today disclosed that Murray was wanted by the U.S. Postal Inspection Service on a federal warrant regarding mail and wire fraud. According to the embassy, Murray is being accused of being involved in a lottery scam syndicate that defrauded multiple victims. It is being alleged that these people were scammed out of approximately $300,000 US. You can read more in the Gleaner's online stories. And what is this now? Tuberculosis. What's this story? People with tuberculosis symptoms are being urged to seek medical attention. What are the symptoms? Let's find out. Residents of Westmoreland are being encouraged to seek urgent medical attention if they're experiencing any symptoms of tuberculosis, TB for short. Medical Officer of Health for the parish, Dr. Marcia Graham, and that's how that name is correctly pronounced. Graham is Graham. The H is silent. The H is silent. It's Graham, pronounced Graham. Braham is Braham. Birmingham is Birmingham. Birmingham. Fulham, Fulham, Fulham. So the H's are silent, or the H is silent in all of these names and words. So the Medical Officer of Health for the parish, Dr. Marcia Graham, made the appeal while addressing the monthly meeting of the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation in Savannah-Lamar last Thursday. I just want to remind people, she said, that tuberculosis still exists. Thank God we're not having as many cases as we had in previous years, but we need to be alert. And if someone is having a persistent cough with fever, sweating at night, they need to seek medical attention because this can be tuberculosis. If someone is having a persistent cough with fever, sweating at night, they need to seek medical attention because this can be tuberculosis. Graham, that's Dr. Marcia Graham, also appealed for people who have been diagnosed with the disease to complete the course of treatment. You know, this thing where we say, me all right, man, and we still have the medication to take. Me all right, man. We have to watch that. The treatment is supposed to be over a period. Make sure you exhaust the period of the treatment before you make your own, pronounce your own diagnosis or prognosis. Well. And also, it is not a one-week treatment, says Dr. Graham. It takes several months. So if you know anyone who is on treatment, please encourage them to stay the course and complete the course of medication because tuberculosis can be treated. TB is spread through the air from one person to another. All the more reason why we should be wearing masks, right? It is contracted by breathing in germs when an infected person coughs, speaks, sneezes, or spits. TB, that's short for tuberculosis, is spread through the air from one person to another. So we still really, apart from COVID-19, for TB as well, we need to watch our distance because tuberculosis is contracted by breathing in germs when an infected person coughs, speaks, sneezes, or spits. Some of the symptoms of active pulmonary TB are chronic cough persisting for more than 2 weeks, especially accompanied by blood, fever, weight loss, and night sweats. World TB Day will be observed on Thursday, March 24, under the theme, Invest to End TB, Save Lives. And let's make a note of that date. All things being well, on the 24th, we'll come back and share more on World TB Day. Let's go to a call on WhatsApp. The caller has been holding now for 7 minutes and 51 seconds. Thank you for your patience. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
I spoke to you about a week and a half ago, and it was backtracking on an interview we did sometime in December. I just wanted to know if you found the title of the interview. I think it was Period Poverty, because I was looking on YouTube, looking back.
Yes. I
didn't find your interview, but I know I've seen something on period poverty in Jamaica, so I just wondered if it was that.
But that's what it was. That's what it was. The problem now is trying to remember the person I interviewed.
Don't put yourself in any trouble, because really I've sort of looked it up on the YouTube, and it's just something I wanted to start at our local primary school with young girls. So we've already collected about $30,000.
Oh,
and
wow.
I just really wanted to get some idea of, but we're sort of
you should be able, once you Google period poverty Jamaica, there are quite a few stories featuring individuals.
I thought it might have been one of those people.
Yeah, individuals who are doing it. So like I see one from Dervan Tucker. There's another one, Shelly-Ann Weeks. So these are people who are actively involved in this initiative. So you could work with one or two of those.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yes, I'm sure they'll be happy for the help.
Right. Okay. Yes. So I was just wanting to update you that we're still on. Yeah.
Right, and if the information comes back to me, or if I come across it, I'll see. Sometimes, based on how the technology works, you just do a general search of your device, and it brings up all the times when the information was up. I did that, but I didn't see anything. But if anything pops up, I will let you know, because I have your number saved in this phone.
Okay, thank you very much.
Great, thank you for the call.
There's just one more thing.
Sure.
Can be broadcast. The thing is, I'm having, well, not me alone, quite a few people in Yellowstone, Thomas, having problem with flow a month.
Really?
They had browse and talk.
I find that.
Stop browse and talk and go on to something else without informing people.
Yes, I find that shocking, because I find it shocking because with all the money Flow has been spending on advertising, and advertising is not cheap, especially in prime time. As we speak, I'm looking across at a TV monitor and Flow is on the screen. They're everywhere. So they're not short on funds. So surely the least they can do is channel as much of the funds as possible in shoring up their network, and they're making their program, their packages as effective as possible. So you say there was a hello? Did we lose her? Hello? You said there was a a service. Was it a feature or a service that they had and it's no longer happening?
It's the browse and talk. The browse part of it is still there, but apparently the talk part of it, you now have to pay for local, and any calls you make, you now have to pay, because the browse and talk you had, they allowed you to do the talking for free. It says you just paid one price for the browse and talk, but now they say you have to pay for the phone calls you make, which I don't mind, but now I can't make any phone call. Each time I try to make a call, they're telling you either your phone is barred or your account is in arrears. And I mean, I've paid it up to the 10th of March. It's been confirmed by the local Lime office, and you can't get through to them because I can't use my phone to call them, even on the 1-800 number. And if you go to Kingston, you stand 45, 1 hour outside the customer service. You can't see anyone.
Well, I've been avoiding those offices like the plague. I don't want anything to do with them. It's just waiting outside. You know, it's can be quite frustrating. I don't know. Who's doing communications at Flow? Is it? I'm trying to remember, but I haven't been in touch with anybody from Flow in a very long time, with respect to trying to resolve issues with customers like you. But we could check to see who. But I don't know. Maybe they're so busy on their advertising blitz every night, multiple ads, etc., that they don't have time to take care of the basic customer needs. We'll have to
pay your bills online. You pay it online, and then they say you're in arrears.
Yeah, not good. And this is why there's the Office of Utilities Regulation, the OUR. When we have these issues, we're supposed to check speak with a supervisor or someone in a senior position at the company. If we're still not satisfied, put it in writing to the consumer. Well, you can write to the Consumer Affairs Commission and copy the OUR, or write to the OUR and copy the Consumer Affairs Commission on the letter. But it really should.
Having our roads done as well, you know, because they're actually working on the refurbishing our roads.
Oh.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, because everybody, you know,
yes.
Just everything.
It's a little chaotic. I noticed because there was some protest as well. Some protest from residents of the area having to deal with dust nuisance, having to deal. Yes. Oh boy, wait. Development shouldn't have to be so chaka though, as we say in Jamaican parlance. Development needs to be more orderly than that. The displacement has to be manageable and timely and given due consideration given to the impact that the activities of the work of the highway developers are having on the people. We have to be much more considerate. Yeah.
Well, we sent an email to the NWA to see if they can do anything about it, because you know it's just terrible.
Yeah, it's not good at all. But they should be on tomorrow morning. The NWA will be on the morning agenda tomorrow at 8 or just after 8 o'clock.
Oh, yes.
If you're able to, perhaps you could give a listen or place a call or send a message and see if Stephen Shaw can address that. But in the meantime, we'll check. Thank you. We'll check to see if there's anybody at Flow who has time for us and their customers to share information. If they can take a break from all the advertising and join us, we'll be delighted to have them. So keep listening, and let's see if we can get a hold of someone from Flow.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you for the call as well. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And the thing is, when you ramp up advertising, you'd better be prepared for everything that comes with it. When you're doing in-your-face advertising, morning, noon, and night, make sure that your house is in order. Otherwise, it could backfire. 876-922. Oops, time for the break.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Traveling to Jamaica with unaccompanied shipment? The Jamaica Customs Agency is encouraging all air passengers with unaccompanied shipment who have a taxpayer registration number, TRN, to present it to customs upon arrival. This will subsequently facilitate faster processing when clearing your unaccompanied shipments. The Jamaica Customs Agency will continue to implement measures to improve our service delivery and your service experience. You may contact us at 876-922-5140 to 8 or email public.relations@jca.gov.jm on this and other customs-related matters. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Que hora es en español? Son las 4:01. Quelle heure est-il au français? Les 4:01. 现在几点了？4点01分. A minute past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now's a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Natalie Winter is still online. We see you. And let's go down the line. Kareen says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. I don't know if you have any new update for us here. Well, you can drop one of those, either news or update. To say new update is like saying new or update. So you're asking for new information on developments between Russia and Ukraine. Let's give you a quick update in that regard, Karine, and see what's been happening there. Let's go to the BBC. Their reputation precedes them. U.S. warns China against support for Russia. What is this? So the story is loading, but that seems to be the most current story. U.S. warns China against support for Russia. We're trying to see if we can give you a bit of it. The play button is not playing, but let's see. So here's a summary of what's been happening today or within the last 24 hours. An evacuation convoy of about 160 cars has managed to leave the besieged Ukrainian city of Mariupol, authorities there say. Previous attempts to allow civilians to flee the southern city along humanitarian corridors have failed as Russian attacks continued. People who have escaped the city have spoken of desperate scenes as residents run out of food and clean water. Negotiations between Russian and Ukrainian representatives will resume tomorrow after a fourth round of talks ends without breakthrough. Russia continues its bombardment of many Ukrainian cities, with one person killed in a strike on a block of flats in the capital, Kyiv. The Ukrainians say their capital, the pronunciation for their capital is Kyiv. That's what the Ukrainians say. And the Russians prefer to use the term Kiev. So the Russians say Kiev, K-I-E-V, and the Ukrainians say Kyiv. Also, Russia's defense ministry claims a Ukrainian missile has killed 20 people in the city of Donetsk. Ukraine has blamed Russia for the attack. Leveling Up Secretary Michael Gove launched a UK plan to house Ukrainian refugees in people's homes. Let's see how that goes. Also, number 10, Downing Street. That's where the British Prime Minister resides and has offices, looking at using oligarch properties for refugees. Chelsea FC owner Roman Abramovich was sanctioned last week over his ties to President Putin, one of 18 oligarchs sanctioned by the UK government since the invasion of Ukraine. And there are other stories. there are other stories as well. So that's for you, Karine, since you requested an update. There's some information for you. Carol in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, in reference to the subject of encroachment, which was discussed on Land Solutions today, says encroachment is always a problem in Jamaica. Anne Ramsey is wishing us a happy week. Same to you, Anne Ramsey. Karine Campbell says, Mr. Malcolm, could you get a representative from JPS to come on your program so they could explain more to us about this new price increase? Well, it seems pretty straightforward. We shared the information last week. We read the JPS information. Can we bring it up? Let's see if we can retrieve it. But they sent out some information last week, and we did share it on this program. Not seeing it right now. I mean, but the information was essentially to prepare us for the increased electricity costs that will befall us sooner rather than later, a combination of whatever struggles there were before Ukraine-Russia hostilities and what is now unfolding as far as those hostilities are concerned. So it was on Friday that the JPS sent out the message. Why is it not loading? Here we go. And the subject is higher oil and natural gas prices increase cost of electricity. Higher oil and natural gas prices increase cost of electricity. So the information here says, dear customer, by now you are likely aware, this is from the Jamaica Public Service Company, by now you are likely aware that the war in Ukraine is affecting the price and availability of fuel around the world. We are already feeling the impact right here in Jamaica with rising prices at gas stations. Why, the technology can flip when it's ready, you know. You just touch it and it goes berserk. Anyway, let's get back to the story, or to the letter from JPS. Dear customer, by now you are likely aware that the war in Ukraine is affecting the price and availability of fuel around the world. We're already feeling the impact right here in Jamaica with rising prices at gas stations. Regrettably, electricity bills are also set to increase because of higher oil and natural gas prices caused by the war. This is a very difficult situation caused by external factors over which we have no control. But we would have some control had we taken conservation seriously, had we taken renewable energy seriously over the last 30 to 40 years. If we were really serious, we would have started from way back then when we had the crisis back in, what was that, 76, was it? The oil crisis, 76, I think it was, in that period. And there, even from then, there was talk about, you know, we have to do something about this because blah, blah, blah. And we have been blah, blah, blahing since then. Of course, we have had some developments. I love to visit the wind farm at Potsdam. That's where Monroe College is. Massive wind farm up there. So there's some development there. And yes, we know of the hydroelectricity plants. We have a couple of those. But if we were far more serious, we would have been way ahead right now, way ahead. Anyway, Anyway, let's go back to the JPS's letter. This is a very difficult situation caused by external factors over which we have no control. But there is something that we all can do. Use energy wisely. Given the potential scarcity of this commodity, everyone must take control of their energy usage and avoid waste. Every kilowatt hour counts. We encourage you to use the JPS mobile app to track how efficiently you're using energy, monitor how much electricity you use on an hourly and daily basis, set your energy budget, and control how much you spend on electricity each month. We're also being encouraged to consider switching from our current service to prepaid service. Flexibility in how you pay for the electricity you use. Smart meters now facilitate seamless switching between postpaid and prepaid service. We will continue to keep you up to date on the global energy crisis and how your electricity bill may be affected. We're confident that by working together as a nation, we can get through this challenging time. Sincerely, Ramsey McDonald, Senior Vice President, Customer Services, Jamaica Public Service Company. So that's what the JPS has been saying, Karine. Casita Johnson says, good afternoon, Dervan. You are a long-time personality on radio for a long time. What does that mean, Casita? Time to get off? Well, thank you very much for your message. Carol Williams says, good day, Mr. Malcolm and all the wonderful listeners. Greetings from sunny Brooklyn, New York. We are back to our daylight saving time, an hour ahead of beautiful Jamaica. And the truth to power, says Casita Johnson. It's Dervan, vroom, 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 not Derval. Uh-oh, ouch. Right. And let's go across to, let's go to the phone lines, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Yeah, good thanks. I look update.
From the Ukraine?
Yeah. Mr. Sullivan warned that the USA would not allow China to provide a lifeline to Russia. China will face consequences if it helps Russia evade sanctions. In its invasion of Ukraine, the US says unnamed US officials told multiple news outlets that China had signaled willingness to provide military assistance to Russia. The Chinese Foreign Ministry accused the US of spreading disinformation. Russia denied asking Beijing for military help. The exchange came before top US and Chinese officials met in Rome. Yeah, that's a little much of what I want to share this now.
Right.
Can you tell CVM that from last year we are not seeing anything on its channel on our television?
I'm surprised to hear you have time for the Trouble Vision, Rascava.
I watch the news religiously, my brother.
On the Trouble Vision. No, you tried calling them to tell them the problem you're having?
Me look them up, get one number, but no one answers on the call.
Oh dear.
I mean, none to the manager.
All right, well, let's put a call out to CVM. CVM, when they just started, they used to have a tagline, looking in, looking out, looking even better. Yeah. CVM, you're not looking so good right now in Rascava's eyes. He's not able to... Hold on, don't move, Rascava. One moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15. Apart from the usual unique gift items, 10% discount to seniors. We also offer delivery and curbside pickup in and around the community and online payment options. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Best Pharmacy. Also WhatsApp 876-429-6571. Best Pharmacy. Service with a difference.
Under the Law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We've been doing it for 15 years. That's right. Join us on Thursdays at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and at 9:55 p.m. Compliments of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, educating, advocating, empowering. Under the Law, Thursdays on Power 106 FM.
The following is a public service announcement. Power 106 FM has been informed that unscrupulous persons are calling members of the public, attempting to trick them that they've won a Power 106 FM and digital promotion. Power 106 FM is not involved in any such promotion and is advising persons that receive such calls that this is a scam. Once again, Power 106 FM has no current promotions. Thus, persons receiving calls that they've won prizes from a Power 106 FM promotion should not believe it, because this is a scam. The proceeding was a public service announcement.
RJR, Dina Group. It's a cross-country invasion. Both sides of the story with host Dervan Malcolm makes a stop in Clarendon this Thursday, March 17th, as the RJR Greener Communications Group continues its cross-country tour as we showcase the best of Jamaica at 60. Join us from the Go Gas petrol station, Kellett's Clarendon, from 2 to 5 p.m. This broadcast is brought to you by main sponsors, Grace Foods, Sunshine Snacks, Guardian Life, DG South Foundation, associate sponsors, Hypro Ace, Gateway Cooperative Credit Union, Statistical Institute of Jamaica, H&L Rapid True Value and H&L Agro, Trendback Tonic Wine, Caribbean School of Medical Science Jamaica, and Guardian General Insurance.
Que hora es en espagnol? Son las 4:17 que la retire en français. Il est 4h17. Tiensai, Tidian le, Si Dien Shi Chi Fen. 17 minutes past 4 o'clock, and the time just changed to 18 minutes past 4 in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Yes, Rascabo.
Yeah, the talks that is taking place and how much sentence should be placed on gun crimes and illegal owners of guns. But one thing I'm not hearing them talking about, when you take a taxi with 4 people in it, and the police stop it and find a gun in it, them are going to charge all of who in the vehicle for that gun, when me don't know nothing about it. And then I was charged, give me life sentence, I've charged me 50 years. How them are going to deal with that apartheid?
No, that is still being debated. They haven't arrived at a final point. But for those who feel strongly about that, and people have been speaking out in different settings, and one suspects that there will be some adjustments in that regard. I don't think that's how it will end up.
Oh, but then they get that outside way before they move on, because that's not if they not get to that type, while the other thing when they come in force and that not clear up, people are going to suffer innocent, people are going to jail for the rest of them.
Well, there was a case relatively recently of someone in the entertainment business who the police stopped the vehicle and searched the vehicle, and a gun was found in the vehicle, and obviously not a legal one, and it went to court, and the person spoke on his own behalf and indicated that it was a rental vehicle, and therefore different people were using the vehicle, and so he doesn't know anything about the gun, and he is back on the street right now. So when you have that kind of ruling, it means that if such a situation were to repeat itself, the lawyers can draw for this case to say, in the case of so and so versus the state, this is how that one unfolded. So that was recently. That's like a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Time flies. Yeah.
But I can't say that it should even be enforced, because taxi people come in and who not taxi not necessarily mean to them I go at the same place and you're in a gang or a group. So we just take the taxi down the road there, and go a couple of chain up the road, police stop it. Now everybody gets charged, locked up for it. They shouldn't even talk about that.
Yeah, well,
they're
sorry, go ahead.
That's how some of the men should have left it to get their fight, because no print up, no hand, no must step on it. So when you can't prove without a doubt, you should lock up nobody.
Right. Well, whatever we do, it must be inside the law, or within the law, within the confines of the law. So that
I do that on the gun and I feel up now. They should remove the appeal from the minister about who should get gun. If you have a committee set up to do all the due diligence and arrive at a decision, don't override it.
Right.
So that you undermine the integrity and of the people who yourself put there.
And that's agreed. I think most people agree on that, actually. That if you have a panel of professionals, which means you might have a behavioral scientist specialist, like a psychologist or a psychiatrist, in terms of evaluation of one's mental state and one's behavior, and other experts on that panel. So when they make a ruling, it means that the matter at hand would have gone through the hands, right, from professionals, not from a politician who can act favorably in a situation because of who him check for, to put it in Jamaican parlance, or otherwise. It should never be the case. And this is not the only scenario in which a minister can have the final say. There are other acts, other legislation, other pieces of legislation which give the minister some kind of a veto power. And we have to revise all of those, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, if you set up a committee or a subcommittee, make certain persons who have integrity and will not take no side that it has to come to you as a politician.
That's right.
You have more work to look for the people more than gonna override decision and make by trusted people.
A team of professionals, yes. Well said. Thank you, Raskaba. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Here's Joan in Bermuda. Goodness. To what do we owe the pleasure of this call from Joan in Bermuda? Hello, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, Sergey. How are you?
All the better for hearing from you. It's been a while.
It has been. This is not an altogether pleasant call because I'm still having trouble logging on my PC.
What's the platform you normally use to listen to Power 106?
Go-jamaica.com.
Oh, so I wonder if there's a problem with that particular.
For many days now.
All right.
The only way I can get on is on my Android or on Facebook or YouTube.
All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to send you the list of options for you to ways in which you can listen to Power 106. Give it a try and tell us what works and what doesn't. But we have a listing here of the different ways in which people can listen. So we're going to WhatsApp you. We're going to WhatsApp you that list. In fact, we're doing it right now.
Thank you so much.
Not to the phone that you are on right now, but another. I think you have 2 devices, at least.
Yes, I do.
Right. So I just sent it to one of those 2 devices, and that's the one ending in 35 at the end.
Yes.
Right. So we just sent it. So try one of those other options and let us know if any of them actually works.
Actually, the one with 3.5, that's the one I can get on. That's the Android.
Oh, okay. Well, take a look at the options that we sent you.
I certainly will, and have a nice evening.
You too, and lots of love to your husband Willard and your daughter Roxy and your granddaughter Amira.
Yes, thank you very much. We'll pass it on.
All right, take care.
And same to you and yours.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. One of our regular listeners in Bermuda, Joan, we thank her so much for keeping in touch. She was responsible for taking us to Bermuda twice over the years to cover the Bermuda Jerk Festival, Jamaica Bermuda Jerk Festival. Was it the first year or the second year? I think it was the first year when we got there, and we were at this venue, massive venue, and we were at the broadcast tent, and I was looking out towards the entrance to the complex, and saw this gentleman drove in and parked his vehicle and walked up and all by himself. And then somebody said to me, "Do you know that is the premier?" That's the premier. That's which is the equivalent of prime minister. And there was this man driving himself. This is the premier of Bermuda, driving himself onto the grounds of the Jerk Festival and walking all by himself and greeting everybody. No outriders, no sirens blaring, no bodyguards. He just walked like a regular citizen, enjoying an event with his fellow citizens. I found that quite extraordinary when that all unfolded before my very eyes. Thank you very much, Joan in Bermuda, for helping us to bring back memories of Bermuda. Wonderful place. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Hello to Velta Wilson in St. Thomas. Good to have you on board. Thank you for joining us. Irvelyn was asking, was it Beijing or China? Was that in reference to Raskava when he shared the story that he found? Not sure, maybe. And Steve in Toronto, Canada says, TuneIn is not working either. We can only suggest that you try the other listening options. The other options for you to listen to the program. Let's bring it up. We're almost at the break. Right. So there's the app. What about the Power 106 FM app? That's working as far as I know. I've checked that a few times. Maybe it would be too much to dial a number to listen, but you have to be in the US or UK to dial a number. The Go Jamaica, that one seems to be giving problems. What about One Spot Media? Well, you have to be a subscriber to onespotmedia.com. I see the dilemma now. I see it. Let's take the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
Jesus, Jesus, oh Jesus, oh call your name.
Tune in to Power 106 FM for the longest running religious calling program on Jamaican radio, The Prayer Line. Join Pastor Errol Hay and his team as they offer spiritual guidance and intercession grounded in biblical doctrine. Hear powerful testimonies from Jamaica and around the world. The Prayer Line, a source of support and inspiration in these trying times. That's The Prayer Line on Power 106 FM, Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Join us.
You shall live and declare the works of the Lord. Amen. You shall be a living testimony. You're on the Lord's side.
Like a knife, save you from the lies, from the ropes that bind you, and the role you play, and the game that hooks you, while the big ones get away.
Que hora es en español? Son las 5:28. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:28. 现在几点了？5点加28分。28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. Please support the West Indies women this afternoon. The match starts at 5 o'clock this afternoon. West Indies versus Australia. Please support the West Indies women. They've done very well so far. Very well so far. They they beat the host nation New Zealand in their first match. They beat the defending champions England in their second match. They came upon a rather potent Indian team, firing boundaries all over the place and racking up a record total, 300 plus, and then bowling out the West Indies at the time, I believe, for about 100 and change. And so here's another opportunity for the West Indies women to show that those two victories were not a fluke, and an opportunity for us to send them some positive energy as we watch them take on the women of Australia. This starting at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Let's support the West Indies women. Let's see some other information. Oh, there are some other messages we have to clear. There are so many. Goodness, we're trying. All right, let's go with Iris Terry Salmon. Good afternoon to you. She's having she's hosting a Zoom, which will be live on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. It's called Family Time with host Sir Twain. The topic is mentoring boys, and it starts at 5:30 this afternoon. And this is being put on by Love 101 FM in association with Family Life Ministries, and we wish them well. Thank you for sharing, Iris Terry Salmon. This one says, greetings as I continue to enjoy every day of your lessons. Since I'm impaired, please remember to contact JPS recutting trees opposite side, moving church sign, Runaway Bay. Oh, this was contained in a previous message which didn't get read from Dr. Frank Lawrence. So let's go to the original message. Greetings, Brother Dervan. Keep up the good work of informing us. Please contact JPS for me about tall willow trees touching the power lines at premises on the western side of the road to Brownstown, just opposite the moving church sign in Runaway Bay. I am sight impaired and try to get in touch with JPS with no success. Well, look at what we're going to do right now, Dr. Frank Lawrence. We are going to send your information, your message, first of all, to a representative of the Jamaica Public Service Company. And that representative will be able to act accordingly. So we're forwarding that message right about now. And we're sending it on. Here we go. Along with we'll be sending the contact information as well. So 1, 2, forward. So that's gone. That message has gone to 2 sources. So now we need to share the information. Dr. Where's his message? Where did the message go? Let's come back here. Come back here. Right. Oh, goodness. Come on. Where did it go? Let's scroll down. This one? Yeah. All right. So we're going to share his number now with the JPS team for them to follow up. So we're making sure we save your contact details. And we're now going to forward your contact information so that the JPS will be able to contact you if they need further information. All right, so we're doing all of that right now in real time. And your details are now with the Jamaica Public Service Company. Thank you for the message. And sorry we missed it the first time. Reverend Dr. Frank Lawrence. Thank you for staying in touch with us. Let's go down the line. Hello to Lena. We see you. Elvis, good day. And this one says, good morning. This came in this morning. Good morning, Mr. Malcolm. All right. All right, we'll come back to this one because this one is an interview request. Let's move up the line quickly. We're trying to clear these messages. There are so many of them. This one says, good day, Dervan. What are the laws on the cars with a muffler that make a sound like the firing of a gun? I was awakened at 2:30 a.m. by the sound of gunshots, then heard a car speeding off. Why can't the government make laws to make this madness illegal? Well, there was a story on the news yesterday evening, 6 o'clock. Canute Hare, who is now the director of the Island Traffic Authority, along with the deputy chairman of the National Road Safety Council, saying that they're going on some operations effective almost immediately. They're doing some operations. So wherever they hear the bikes simulating the sound of gunshots, they are going to take action. They're going to take action on the motorbikes as well as motor vehicles. So that's what Canute here has revealed. It was announced, we heard it on the 6 o'clock news yesterday evening. So let's see if the madness will continue, or if they will, if the problem will be fixed, or at least minimized, because you'll always have rogues. You'll always have people, lawless people, because, as my late mother would say, them no have no brought up see. And if you don't have brought up see, you're going to engage in all kind of outer orderness. That's another word from my mother. Outer orderness. Right. So there's your response to the message. Steve says, oh no, we got that. We spoke with Steve already. Roy Lawrence says, hola, profesor. ¿Cómo está? Espero muy bien. Gracias. Sí, señor. Here's another one. Let's go up the line. Crocs in Black River says, greetings. Those JLP functionaries in whichever sectors in the society can draw whatever moral equivalency they want between Bobby Montague and Peter Bunting. But the fact remains that it is the accumulation of scandals around the former that forced, in capital letters, forced the action of his resignation. Is there any such accumulation of scandals surrounding Peter Bunting? Asks Crocs in Black River. There were several, in capital letters, several previous occasions on which Mr. Montague should have resigned or been asked to resign, but he was just shifted from one position to the next with no loss of income or prestige. And to be fair to both former ministers, why give someone the power to act at his or her discretion if you're going to dictate what that discretion must be? The fact that an appeal can be made to a minister means that that would have to have occurred after something adverse, which would mean that the minister must have been able to act at his discretion, notwithstanding any adverse finding. Otherwise, there should be no facility for an appeal. Crocs in Black River, thank you very much for your message, Crocs in Black River. You're right. If you give people power, they're going to use it. And if I have the power to override or veto or overrule, why wouldn't I? Now, where we would draw the line now is where there was a deliberate attempt to ensure that one not deserving of such license gets the license. Yeah. Here's another. Hi, sir. Who's this? Corn singer. Listening and watching as usual. Oh, this is from Samantha in the UK. Thank you very much for listening and watching, Samantha in the UK. Here is another. Big up Dervan Malcolm. Are you keeping the people informed? This is Kwaku in Florida. Kwaku in West Palm Beach, Florida. I haven't heard that name in a while. Last time I heard that name was a play I was in at the School of Drama. And my line was, behold Kwaku Anansi, the crafty Spider-Man. Seriously, yeah, I was in a play. And that's what the first and only time I saw the name Kwaku. This is the second time I'm seeing it now. That was years ago, School of Drama. Anyway, Eureka says, Dervan, tell Raskava that he needs not worry about the case in which a gun is found in a taxi and no one accounts for it. The authorities will use forensic evidence, and where it can't be proven, the person or persons might walk free. And then Eureka says the premier in Cayman drives himself too. I'm not surprised. He's sometimes at the sports bar, etc. I'm not sure what to make of that one, though, at the sports bar. We hope he has been measured at the sports bar and not overindulging. And another message here from Eureka. You can't do that in Jamaica, as you know it's a security issue, in reference to our leaders walking by themselves. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
445. RJR, Dina Group. It's a cross-country invasion. Both sides of the story with host Dervan Malcolm makes a stop in Clarendon this Thursday, March 17, as the RJR Gleaner Communications Group continues its cross-country tour as we showcase the best of Jamaica at 60. Join us from the Go Gas petrol station, Clarence Clarendon, from 2 to 5 p.m. This broadcast is brought to you by main sponsors, Grace Foods, Sunshine Snacks, Guardian Life, Digital Foundation, associate sponsors, Hypro Ace, Gateway Cooperative Credit Union, Statistical Institute of Jamaica, H&L Rapid True Value and H&L Agro, Trinidad Tonic Wine, Caribbean School of Medical Science Jamaica, and Guardian General Insurance.
Consumer Talks, educating and empowering consumers towards a more vigilant and confident consumer-friendly Jamaica. Join us every second and last Tuesday of each month at 9:35 on Real Business. Listen and learn about your rights and responsibilities. Learn how the CAC works to empower consumers in Jamaica. Consumer Talks, brought to you by the Consumer Affairs Commission, protecting your rights, securing our future.
From the mines, rose the fire, and the road.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5:14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:14. 现在几点了？5点茶14分. 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Poro 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Let's clear some more of these messages. GMAC in the Cayman Islands says, Dervan, crime or scandals should be measured on the basis of the volume a person or person does. All right. Thank you, GMAC, for your message. And I think, did we miss this one? Michael from Belle Plaine in Clarendon. Good afternoon to you, Michael. Let's hop across to YouTube and see what's happening there. Let's see here. Oops, quite a few messages. Let's see. Donovan says, thank you. Truth to Power asks, is there still a station called CVM? Even in Kingston, no one is able to pick it up. And Donovan Campbell says, for the information you give to us each afternoon and the way in which it is done, that we can understand. Truth to Power says, just a little tidbit. Well, you're welcome, Donovan. Just a little tidbit. Many people may not be aware that TVJ was first named SSTV, yes, Super Supreme TV. But it was changed because the SS portion was deemed offensive to the Jews. Karine says, thanks for the information. Blessings. Karine says, cricket is my favorite sport. I will be watching or listening. I wish them the best in reference to the West Indies women who will be taking on the Australians at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Not too long from now, 11 minutes time. Royal visit next week. Looking forward to it, says Natalie Winter. Sounds as if Natalie Winter has an invitation to meet with the Royals next week. And she says, debate about monarchy versus republic, quite interesting. Is it never? And GMAC sends us a rejoinder. He says, Dervan, the PNP don't take scandals seriously unless it's outside of their party. They don't have the moral authority to speak about scandals. Well, you will always have this back and forth thing. Remember on the political platform, was it the last election or election before last, when they were, each party was listing the scandals of the other party. So, oh well, it's what kind of contest? That's definitely not a beauty contest. That's not a beauty contest at all. Right, let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Can we give you a bit of history? Can we? Let's see. Let's go up the line here and go to the year 1776. Every time that year comes up, just think Kingston Public Hospital, even as you think the United States of America. The Kingston Public Hospital is as old as the United States of America. But here's something else that happened in 1776. On this day in 1776, Alexander Hamilton received his commission as captain of a New York artillery company. Throughout the rest of 1776, Captain Hamilton established himself as a great military leader as he directed his artillery company in several battles in and around New York City. In March 1777, Hamilton's performance came to the attention of General George Washington, and he was commissioned lieutenant colonel and personal aide to General Washington in the Continental Army. After serving under Washington for 4 years, Hamilton resigned in February 1781 after a dispute with the general, but remained in the army. In July 1781, Hamilton took a position as commander of a regiment of New York troops and served with distinction at the Battle of Yorktown in the fall of that year. After resigning from the army and working at a law practice, Hamilton was elected to the Continental Congress from New York in 1782, where he quickly became known as a proponent of a stronger national government. In the years to come, Hamilton became well known for his political philosophy and published several papers along with James Madison and John Jay that became known as the Federalist Papers. Hamilton became the first Secretary of the Treasury of the United States of America in September 1789 after the election of President George Washington, and served in that office until resigning in 1795. Hamilton then returned to the private sector and a law practice in New York City, but remained a close advisor to President Washington. In 1800, Hamilton became embroiled in a bitter dispute when he threw his support behind President John Adams's re-election campaign instead of presidential candidate Aaron Burr's, as in Aaron Burr's campaign. After his defeat, Burr ran for governor of New York in 1804. Hamilton again opposed his candidacy. Humiliated, Burr challenged Hamilton to a duel. And you know what a duel is, right? A sword fight. And that challenge was on the 11th of July, 1804, in Weehawken, New Jersey. Alexander Hamilton was, it wasn't sword this time, though, by the way. It was guns drawn. Alexander Hamilton was shot in the duel and died of his wound the following day on the 12th of July in New York at the age of 49. Alexander Hamilton was born in Nevis in the Twin Islands state of St. Kitts, Nevis. That's where he's from. And he was the first Secretary of the Treasury. And of course, a Jamaican was the second Secretary of the Treasury, or served as well as Secretary of the Treasury, a Jamaican by the name of Alexander J. Dallas. Alexander J. Dallas. Albert Einstein was born on this day in 1879, the son of a Jewish electrical engineer in Ulm, Germany. Einstein's theories of special and general relativity drastically altered man's view of the universe, and his work in particular and energy theory helped make possible quantum mechanics and ultimately the atomic bomb. Not sure if we should be saying thanks for that. And the story of Einstein goes on. Quite a storied history. Quite a storied history. Don't think we have time for the rest of that information, but we'll take you a little closer. Have you ever seen a sign at a bar that says, in Jamaica, that says, "It is my intention to apply for a spirits license by a certain time," etc., etc. 1934 in Jamaica, government proposed legislation to bring temperance bars under the provisions of the spirits license law. These premises, which would be licensed by the appropriate authority, would be called upon to pay £15 each for the privilege of selling intoxicants. They must suspend business at midnight instead of operating all night and preventing the general public from resting at nights in peace from the noise of the music and the rowdyism of their patrons. If you thought night noise started the other day, this was 1934, and night noise was a problem in Jamaica. Tony Lang, the late Tony Lang would say, we are boogie long time them a boogie. Right, 1934. And let's see, can we give you one more? A photograph of a tree in the Uerton Elementary School garden, St. Catherine, bearing 11 varieties of citrus fruit was published in the Daily Gleaner. On this day in 1942, the tree was budded by the headmaster, W.B. Leslie. The photograph showed the three beating, well, the Triumph, Marsh Seedless, and Foster Pink Grapefruit, Valencia, Parson Brown, Pineapple, King, Temple, and Navel Orange. Can you imagine all of those 11 varieties of citrus on one tree? That's quite something. That was 1942 in Jamaica. 1942. And I wasn't finished. There's Temple, Navel Orange, Bella Franca, Lemon, and Tangerine. All on one tree. Remarkable. Remarkable. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Monday, the 14th of March, 2022. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on. Nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care. One step at a time. Polarity hell. If the bad guys don't get you, baby, then the good guys will. Angels on the take and gangsters in the yard. Hey, don't the wars come easy. Hey, don't the peace come hard. I had a way to reach the sky. I grabbed that crescent moon, wield it like a knife to save you from the fires, from the ropes that bind you and the role you play and the plane that hits you while the big ones get away. Bye.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's news